friends, I wanted to share with you guys a recipe that I've made several times, and it is the Martha Stewart version of the macaroons. Now, like some of you, I have been obsessed with macaroons. I mean, look at these little delectable cookies. They are just the cutest little things, and even the front cover. I mean, how could you resist that, right? But at my local bakery shop, they do sell them for about $2.50 or $2.75 each little cookie. So that's a bit too expensive, especially with a family of 5. So I found this recipe a couple months ago, and I've made it about 2 or 3 times. And each time I've made it, it has come to not so much of a perfection, but it's come as good as it can possibly get, I think, by me making it. So I do love this recipe a lot. Now, this is a very simple recipe. It calls for 2/3 cup sliced blanched almonds or 2/3 cup almond meal, 1 cup confectioner sugar, 2 large egg whites at room temperature, 1/4 cup granulated sugar, and of course your filling of choice, which I will discuss later on once the cookies are baked. Now, the process is also simple. Now, you're going to put into your food processor the almond meal or the blanched almonds and also the sugar. You're going to process that for about a minute or so. You're also going to run it through a sifter because you want those 2 ingredients very fine. Now, you're going to do your egg whites into either a stand mixer or a handheld mixer, and then you're going to basically get your egg whites to be a meringue consistency. Then you're going to fold the dry ingredients onto the meringue egg whites, and then you're going to put it into some sort of a bag. You can use Ziploc bags, or if you have one of these pastry bags, you could use that as well. Then you're going to form like about a 3/4 of an inch round, put it into a cookie sheet that's been lined with parchment paper, and then you're going to bake it. And it's as simple as that. Let me show you the process. So I got this almond meal at Trader Joe's. I'm going to go ahead and put 2/3 cups into my food processor. Alright, I went ahead and put my 2/3 cups of almond meal into my food processor. I'm going to go ahead and power it on. And then let it go for about a minute. Now I'm going to switch from on and pulse just to make sure that it's being grounded real well. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my 1 cup of powdered sugar and process that together for about a minute. Now I'm going to dump that dry ingredients into a sifter and sift it into a large bowl. Now, the reason that you're going to run this through a sifter after the food processor are because of these clumps right here. You don't want that into your mixture of making the macaroons. Now that you have a super fine dry mixture, we'll go ahead and start with the egg whites. Now I'm going to hand whisk together the 2 egg whites and the 1/4 cup of sugar. And once that's well blended, I'm going to go ahead and add it on to my KitchenAid mixing bowl. I went ahead and placed the egg whites and sugar into my mixer, and I will beat it for about 2 minutes on a speed of 4, and then another 2 minutes on a speed of 6, and another 2 minutes on a speed of 8, until it forms a soft, nice peak like the picture above. Right, there we go. And now I think it's going to be a perfect consistency, and I went ahead and taken it out of the attachment, and to check if you have the right consistency of the egg whites, because it is very important in the process of this, is that when you swirl it in, you lift it up, you basically have that peak right there. So that's perfect consistency. You do not want to overbeat it. Overbeating the egg whites will allow you to have cracked cookies. under beating the egg whites will allow you not to have the feet at the bottom, the ridges. This is the time now to go ahead and add your coloring. Now I am going to add guava filling on half of the batch and a lemon curd on the other half. So I'm going to use yellow food coloring. Now for my yellow, I'm going to go ahead and start with 1, 2 large drops. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and beat this just for about 15 seconds just to see what the consistency is. Now the 2 drops has given me a nice soft yellow in color. Once you bake the cookies do tend to run a little bit lighter in color than what you see on your raw ingredients. Now I'm going to add the dry ingredients onto the egg white mixture. I'm going to go ahead and add all of it at once. Now with this process, you're going to want to fold the egg whites onto the dry ingredients. This will take about 30 to 40 strokes. I have a pastry bag with the attachment to make my macaroon shape, and then I have a glass which I'm going to place the tip onto the glass so it does not drip down. I have a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper, so I'm going to go ahead and place all of the ingredients, or as much as I can, onto the pastry bag. I went ahead and piped about a 3/4 of an inch onto my cookie sheet, and I just eyeballed it. I didn't have a template or anything, but just try to make sure that it's all the same sizes. Now the most important part of this process is to get the cookie sheet, place it on your counter, and give it about 2 or 3 good taps. What you're doing is creating all the air out. And also another important tip with this one is that let it sit. So let this sit for about 10 to 20 minutes before placing it into the oven. Now you're going to know that your cookies are ready to be put into the oven when you give it a little touch and it kind of gives. It's no longer sticky. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare my oven. Now with the oven, make sure that you have the shelf that you're going to put it in, or the rack, onto 1, 2, 3, onto the third shelf from the bottom. So my oven has been preheated for 350 degrees. I'm ready to put in my cookie sheet in there, and it's going to bake for about 13 minutes depending on the type of oven you have. Now I know that my oven is a bit more powerful than the regular oven, so I'm just gonna go ahead and time it for 10 minutes, and if it's still undercooked, then I'm gonna go ahead and add about a minute or 2 more after that. So it just depends on what kind of oven you have. I just took it out of the oven, so it's been cooling for about a minute now, and so I wanted to show you the bottom, and it's nice and golden brown at the bottom, so it's just right. And here is the finished product. I have some macarons in here filled with Nutella, and then the smaller ones are filled with cookie butter. These are the kids' favorite fillings, and they absolutely love this, and so does hubby. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick video of how to make your own macaroons. Thank you, and as always, mahalo.